Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 49. Andrew here, along with Zachary Knight. Hey,
Hello,
Zachary.
Andrew. Hello, everybody.
Hello, all.
Yep.
Yes.
So, how
So,
how's your week been?
still getting over being sick. Now I've got a headache and I'm kind of a bit of a runny nose. Not as bad as last week. What's funny is someone commented on the last video I uploaded for debut review. I think the Hinako Note review, the one that I uploaded on Friday, that was actually recorded Wednesday of the previous week. And
Okay.
he's like, "Oh man, you look awful. Don't kill yourself over these." And I told him, "Wait till you see Monday's video, which was recorded immediately following that one. I, I just completely take a dive. In this one, I just look kind of tired, and the next one, I look like I'm
Yeah.
about to fall over, and I kind of cut it short a little bit because I'm like I need to go to bed. It's 10:30 at night. It's not even that late, but
Yeah.
and I figured out the following morning. Went, oh, I'm sick. That's the problem. I wasn't just tired. I was actually getting sick. So,
Yeah.
have I played Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 1 and 2? No, I have not. The only Shin Megami Tensei game I have played, if you count it, is Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Uh, I don't know if you would count that as a Shin Megami Tensei game, but I do enjoy Tokyo Mirage Sessions. So I've been
Okay.
playing. I think I noted last week that I'd finished Bayonetta, and I was thinking about playing
Yeah.
Vanquish. I actually went back and started Wonderful 101 again because I had the first time I played the game. I think I got like halfway through the third mission out of like 10,
Yeah.
and I stopped. Either I got distracted by something else going on in my life, or whatever happened. But I started the game over. I'm playing through it. I'm at the end of mission 6 or something right now, and really enjoying the game. I think the same problem I have with a lot of the platinum brawlers is they don't do a great job of really explaining the depths of their mechanics. Um, I actually, for both Bayonetta and Wonderful 101, went to YouTube and started looking at some high level play videos. And I was like,
Hmm.
ooh, I didn't even know you could do that. And it's some of the things I was talking about that I criticized Bayonetta for in not signposting things very well. In other words, it sometimes it's not completely clear what you're supposed to be doing. Wonderful 101 has the same problem. A lot of times you're just like, it's not completely clear how I'm supposed to go about doing something or what the game is. For example, there's a gap in the road and the road behind you is exploding, so you have to get across the gap real quick. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, usually you use your little dudes to make a bridge and you throw your line across and it's not making a bridge. I'm like, well, okay, this can be finicky, so am I just not drawing the line exactly right? And then I die and I have to start over because the platform I'm standing on blows up. I do this a bunch of times. I'm like, okay, am I supposed to use the glider here and glide across? Because the bridge isn't working. Okay, I'll use the glider. And I fail to draw the glider and I die and I restart and I draw the glider and then I crash into the far end. I'm like, I don't seem to have enough height. Maybe I'm just not getting enough height. And so I jump high and I draw the glider and knock. I'm like, do I just jump over this gap? No, I can't seem to. And on the third try, I actually jumped the gap just using a double jump. I'm like, that is the only place in the game you actually it. Everything in the game is telling you that you're supposed to use your dudes to make a bridge. And they think
Yeah.
maybe I'm supposed to use the glider to glide across. Usually the glide portions are like really long, but
Yeah.
no, it's just a double jump that's the long. It's just, there's a lot of sequences in the game where you're just not clear on what you're supposed to be doing. Uh, there's a block in the game, which is really cool because you can block and then it throws the attack back at an enemy, but only for blunt things like stomps and punches. Any type of attack that has like like if someone pokes you with a drill bit kind of thing,
Hmm.
anything that's sharp or slicey doesn't work. And you get past like level 3 and it seems like you can't block anything, and then you forget about the block because nothing
Yeah.
is blockable. So it's still a great game. Wonderful 101 is if the Switch is a console for uh, excellent Wii U games that need another shot in the limelight. I think Wonderful 101 would be a good choice because not a lot of people saw that game, and it really is great. It, a few
Yeah.
faults, but if you can come to grips with the controls and understand how the game works, it's really cute and really fun and funny and just kind of a joy to play. So, uh, what will be out in PC in 5 days? Wonderful 101. Oh, Vanquish. Vanquish, I think, was announced last week. Yeah. Uh, so that's what I've been playing this week is the wonderful 101. So if you have a
Nice.
or Wii U, yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, that's on my. That's definitely on my to buy list when I get a Wii U. That and there's a few other games that I definitely want to get, but yeah,
It's
yeah.
one
This.
of those games that kind of like Metroid Other M to an extent. It has a unique control system that works, but you look at it and you're like, it may work, but I don't really want to control the game that way, you know? Um, and I'm trying, because the way Wonderful 101 works is like Pikmin, you have 100 dudes following you around, and use the right control stick. Uh, when you push the control stick, they move in a line in that direction. So you can use your dudes to draw shapes, and that creates attacks. So if you draw a straight line, which is the easiest one, you make a sword. If you draw a circle, you make a fist that you can punch things with. You make a squiggly line, you make a whip that you can whip things with, and so on and so forth. Some of the shapes are kind of hard to draw, which makes it frustrating when you're trying to pull out a time bomb or a hammer and you just can't get the damn thing to draw correctly. For example, there's a bunch of quick time events, which is basically just you have 10 seconds to perform this particular attack, and it's like if you need to give me 10 seconds to whip out one attack, you need to rethink your controls. Um, but I'm like, how else would you do it? I guess just cycle through the attacks with the bumpers or with the plus pad or
Yeah,
we complicated button combos for the 7 or 8 different unite morphs is what they're called. I'm not sure. No, Metroid Other M was not just bad. Metroid Other M is good, and this is my opinion, of course. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I still maintain that Metroid Other M is a good game, a fun game with some pretty great gameplay. Just kind of a weird control scheme where you had to. I don't have a Wii remote sitting next to me, but you hold it on its side like a NES or SNES controller, and then when you to aim and shoot, you point the remote at the screen. So you're constantly doing that, which is it works. It's just not how I want to play the game. The problem with Metroid Other M is the story sucks. Uh, I think that's what most people are talking about when they say that Other M was terrible.
yeah,
It's really not the gameplay. It plays fine. It's fun. It may not be the type of Metroid game you were looking for, but it's a fun game, and the gameplay mechanics are solid. The control scheme, again, is weird and maybe not how you want to play the game, but it does work. But man, the characters and the story, the writing is terrible. I mean,
yeah,
utterly, completely bad. So
yeah,
I didn't say it doesn't control well. I said it controls well. It's just got a weird control scheme. It controls just fine. It's
yeah,
just weird and not exactly how I'd want to control it because I don't want to keep switching my grip on the controller. I'm lazy. I just want to sit there. Um, I mean, because you don't need to do it that way. It's a little gimmicky, but again, it does work. It's just
yeah.
probably not what I would have went with. Um, but yeah, oh man, the story's just terrible. I've long wanted to do a video on that, explaining the difference between solid gameplay and just crappy story. Um, yeah, like I said, Matt, the controls, the constant switching the grip. Not ideal, but it does work. I mean, it's kind of like Mario accelerating in the Galaxy games. Not ideal, but it works. It's a deliberate it's not bad controls because they work. It's maybe ill-advised. You maybe didn't want to do them that way, but
Yeah.
it still works. Anyway, I've never done that video because I didn't want to go back and play through the game again. There are actually portions of the game that flat out do not work. There's a couple sequences in the game, like there's one sequence that makes Samus walk through some area, uh, for some reason, for some story reason, and she walks so slow. It's like she's investigating something to root out the bad guy, and she just walks so damn. You're like, oh my god, go faster! There's a couple portions in the game where it's like where it locks you in a first person mode and looking in one direction. It says, find the odd thing here and focus on it. The very first one is she's walking onto the big ship, and there's a Federation ship. There's another ship docked on the big ship, and it's locked on. It's like, find something wrong, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. And so you try to do the pixel hunt thing where you just sweep the cursor across the entire screen like you're washing a bathroom mirror or something like that. But the problem is you can't do that because you have to have your cursor sitting on whatever pixel it wants you to look at for like half a second before it will go, oh, this. So you have to basically go, okay, okay, okay. if or look it up on the internet. So what are you supposed to focus on in that first scene? The logo on the ship. And Samus goes, oh, this is a Federation ship. What are they doing here? And this, keep in mind, this is the very beginning of the game. You have no idea what the Federation logo looks like. You wouldn't recognize it from anything. And you have no idea why the Federation should or should not be here. It doesn't mean anything to you, the player. That's some bad game design right there, because
Yeah.
and there's several portions of the game that will do that where you're like, I don't know, Samus. What do you want me to look at? I don't know what you find interesting about this scene. But so what was I talking about before other M? Wonderful
You were
101.
talking about Wonderful 101, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, Wonderful 101, weird control scheme. You may not be able to get to grips with it. And if you can't get to grips with, like Other M and Wonderful 101, if you can't get to grips with the control scheme, or I mean, hell, Kirby Rainbow Curse, if you just can't handle that control scheme, you're going to have a lot of difficulty enjoying the game, no matter how good the game may actually be. And I understand that there are, for example, one of the reasons I don't like Muramasa Demon Blade is because I can't stand pushing up to jump. I hate that. It only works in fighting games, like Street Fighter and stuff like that.
Well, treat it like a fighting game.
That's one of the smaller reasons why I don't care. I mean, if I liked the game otherwise, I would have put up with that. But that game's boring. I actually tried that one again recently, like a year or two ago, and I'm like, no, I just don't like this game. Anyway,
I still enjoyed it, so I was actually considering replaying it.
I
recently,
wish I
so
enjoyed it
many
because I
other
love
games.
looking at it because it's gorgeous, but I just find it so boring to play.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. So this week I haven't done a lot of game playing this week, but I did start a game that's been on my to play list for a long time, Anodyne. With I got that Humble Bundle long time ago, and I was just like, I just saw it and I'm just bored, and I was like, you know what, I haven't played that one yet. Let me give that a shot, and I started playing it, and I'm only about 40 minutes in, so it's still plenty of stuff to play, but some interesting things stuck out. One, it's built in Adobe Air, which is the Adobe's wrapper for Flash applications for desktop deployment, and it, I was really surprised that this actually worked on Linux because Adobe stopped supporting Air a year ago or so, and they
Mhm.
stopped supporting Linux Air like several years before that. So I was really surprised that this game actually installed. But other than that, I started playing it. The first thing that's really interesting is that your main weapon is a broom, and you've got some there, and it actually works in the game with the way you play because you sweep up little dust piles and you can use those to block lasers and other things. My son was watching me play and he's like, how is a pile of dust blocking a plasma beam? That doesn't make any sense. And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, well, that's just how the game plays. But other than that, like I said, I haven't gotten too far into it. I've only beaten one dungeon temple thing, and so I'm looking forward to playing more of it because it's a Zelda style game, just a top down adventure game. So type of game that I like playing. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing that some more. Other than that, yeah, I've just been playing Pokemon Go. There's a new promo that they're doing where rock type Pokemon show up more often. They did water and grass type uh, earlier in the year. Now they're doing rock types, and again, it's another thing that I don't need. But but I did learn a couple of things. Or one thing is that Pokemon Go will like you can assign a Pokemon to be your buddy. So as you walk around, your buddy will find candy depending on whether it's after some Pokemon, it's 1 kilometer they'll get a candy which is used for powering up and evolving uh, the Pokemon. Some Pokemon are 3 kilometers to get that one candy, and other ones are 5 kilometers. Well, I learned today that there's actually a 40-kilometer limit on this buddy candy. If you walk 40 kilometers, you won't get any candy after that. And based on what I've read, that's a limit on
You
there.
got too much exercise, son. Sit down.
Yeah, well, it's apparently it's a limit put on to block botting, so like you can't, so that
Put
people
your
can't
phone in the
just.
tumble dryer
Well, it doesn't do it
or
that
attach it
way.
to a ceiling fan.
No, no, it's all GPS based. They don't.
Hmm.
It's not a pedometer type
All
system,
right.
so it tracks your GPS location. But the thing is they botting is a big issue where people will uh, use bots to and GPS spoofers to walk their Pokemon around with while they're sitting at their desk or on their couch or whatever. And so they put that 40-kilometer limit on there because I guess they thought 40 kilometers is probably the reasonable limit that a normal person would actually walk
Hmm.
in a single day.
All right. Well,
But,
let me ask this regarding botting and GPS spoofing and stuff like that. Um, so what?
well,
Who cares? I mean, that sounds flippant, but genuinely, I mean, if
well,
someone wants to just fill their Pokedex, do they win anything? I mean, there's no
yeah,
money on the line. I guess Nintendo might lose out on some sales because they don't buy the stuff in the store that you
yeah.
buy to
Yeah,
catch Pokemon.
there's that as part of it, but the main thing I think is on the PvP side of things. They have the gyms where you can claim a gym, put a Pokemon in there, get coins out of it, and take over other people's gyms and stuff. So it's kind of a multiplayer type, a directly PvP types.
Well, I mean, if it negatively affects someone else's experience, then yeah.
Yeah, because there is a huge problem with spoofers and people who use bots and multiple accounts and stuff, where they'll use a bot who will travel around the world looking for specific Pokemon, and in order to build up an inventory of like 20 Snorlaxes, 15 Dragonites, and stuff like that, and then
Mhm.
they will just fill gyms up with those those Pokemon and take over other people's gyms and just fill them up, and it really it does kind of frustrate people
Okay.
uh, when when that happens, and it's very very apparent. Like when back in January they released Generation 2. They had
Yeah.
Gen 1 for the first 6 months, and then Gen 2 came out. Well, within like 2 days, nearly every gym around me had a Tyranitar, which was the rarest Pokemon in Gen 2. Nearly every one of them had a Tyranitar at the top of it. And that's within a matter of days. And it's like I've hatched one Tyranitar. I have not seen a single wild Tyranitar, or not Tyranitar, Larvitar, the basic form. I've hatched one Larvitar, and I have not seen a wild Larvitar, Pupitar, or Tyranitar in the entire game since Gen 2 came out in January. And people managed to get a Tyranitar, multiple Tyranitars within the week of it coming out. And so, yeah, botting and spoofing is a big issue, and yeah. So I can understand why Niantic would put in these kind of measures, but
Okay. Yeah. I
sometimes
mean,
they are frustrating.
yeah. As I
Um,
said, if you're putzing around with exploits or cheating is affecting other people's enjoyment, then sure. But
yeah.
I was wondering, is it kind of like trying to shut down people from using the Konami code in Contra or something? I mean, i if you want to up, down, down, left, right, be a start, well, select start in Contra, to get
Uh,
30 lives so you can beat Contra, hey, go
yeah.
for it. I don't care.
Yeah, see, I don't have a problem. Like there's people out there who use a thing called IV calculators, which they look at your Pokédex or like what Pokemon you have in your inventory, and then they figure out the strength or attack, defense, and health or HP or whatever of your Pokemon, and determine if it's the best it can be. So if you get a 100% Pokemon, then it's going to be a beast in gym battles. But if you get one that's like a 57%, it's going to get its butt kicked in half a second. And so people use these calculators to get rid of all the crappy Pokemon and save their candies for the good Pokemon to evolve. And then there's that, and then I use a tracking app, and Niantic has been like going, going full bore against tracking applications, where they'll track they'll you can select an area on the map, and then it'll search a certain radius around that area and tell you what Pokemon are spawning in there, and uh, and I use that because I'm at the point where I have one Gen 1 Pokemon that I'm still looking for, and then 16 Gen 2 Pokemon that I'm still looking for. And it's like, I'm never going to find these at all, just wandering around. So I'm using a tracking app to help me find these Pokemon so I can complete my Pokedex.
Uh,
But Niantic kind of hates those because, because that kind of that leads people to not buy egg incubators to hatch eggs as often because they make money off the egg incubators, and if you're not hatching eggs, they're not making money, and so they want you to hatch eggs so that you can get those rare Pokemon that you never run into in the wild. um,
I'm sitting here thinking about a different mobile experience because Pokemon's not my game except Pokemon Snap, which is awesome. But what is my game is Monster Hunter. So I was sitting here thinking, how would Monster Hunter Go work? And I'm thinking of wandering around your neighborhood and seeing a monster and just flicking a paintball at it or something. So if it wanders off to some other area of the neighborhood, you know where it goes. And I'm trying to think, it's like what happens if it you know if you lose all your health, and you get carted, do you have to physically walk back home again and then hope that the paintball doesn't wear off and go run to another area of the neighborhood? And if you're fighting Korapeko or something like that, and a damn Devil Joe comes in, you see these kids going, "Oh shit!" and they just run away from Devil Joe so they don't get carted. Like, that
Yeah.
can be incredibly dangerous, but pretty funny. Um,
Yeah.
Silent
Oh,
Hill Go says Nightmare
yeah.
Ninja.
So yeah, Silent Hill Go might work as a VR app.
Sure.
Yeah. So Matthew mentions the Zelda mobile game. Did you hear about the recent? I don't know if it was rumor or if it's actually confirmed, but a Zelda mobile game. So they've got
Like from
Mario,
Nintendo
Fire,
or
yeah, from Nintendo. So they've got Mario,
uh
Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and then apparently Zelda and Animal Crossing, and then apparently Zelda's their next
yeah.
title to come out. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Animal Crossing got pushed back to sometime in the fiscal year, so sometime between now and March 2018, end of March. Um, but yeah, there's that, a Zelda mobile wouldn't surprise me. It
Yeah,
depends on
I'm
what
just
they
trying
do
to
with it.
think of how they would do that one because
It
now
might just
on-screen controls are terrible. Like gamepad controls are
mm,
absolutely terrible. I've tried to play some Zelda style games with on-screen gamepad controls, and I can't play those worth a flip. And so I don't think Nintendo would do that.
maybe it will be Zelda Maker, and you use just kind of drag and drop type of things to make Zelda maps and dungeons that you can import into your Switch or something to play. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
that's true. Spirit Tracks and Phantom
Phantom
Hourglass
Hourglass. Yeah.
had all, dra- basically, I think you poked at the screen and dragged along, and Link would just kind of follow around wherever you were touching. Um, Again, it's kind of what we were going back earlier. Control schemes that work, but just aren't how you want to play the game. And
Yeah.
both Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass work. I wouldn't call them bad controls because they do what they're supposed to do. I just don't like them, and I don't want to play the game like that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I who knows? I'm more interested in the rumor a ways back for a Zelda Netflix show. I'm like, yeah, do that.
Yeah, a live action Zelda Netflix show, totally on board of that
Or
for that.
animated. I'm
Yeah. Well,
easy.
an animated one too, yeah, as long as it doesn't look and sound like the one from the 80s or 90s or whatever
Yeah.
that was. Although the Super Mario Brothers Super Show was pretty good. I love that show. I still watch episodes of that today.
So, all right, let us move to our first topic now that we're halfway through the show. So, our first topic is about Nintendo localization. But Nintendo done well. This is more of a change than actual localization decision. But this is an example of good localization. So in Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the one on the Switch, which has the
Yeah.
Inkling characters, all the characters have a kind of a taunt, that they can do with the other characters. The Inkling taunt was to look behind them and do this, um, which in Japan, I see this a lot, and context tells me that's more, big arm, big muscle. Yeah, we're strong. Yeah, Rosie
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Riveter, we can do it. That kind of a thing. Like, ah, yeah, we're gonna do this. Here in the West, and even in Europe, especially in Italy, it's pretty close to this, which is fu. So they changed it from this to just the arm. So now the Inklings just look behind them and are like, yeah. So instead of putting their hands on their bicep, just a quick change. So it changed from this to this, and to the internet's credit, although I don't hang out in the bad places, I haven't heard anyone cry censorship. That was a post product change, but I could totally see this being a localization decision because this in this part of the world kind of means this. And that's not what they want. So we altered the animation slightly to mean exactly what it was supposed to mean in the first place.
Yeah.
That is good localization.
Yeah, I've seen a few comments from people who are like, "Oh, censorship is bad. It doesn't matter what censorship it is," and
Mhm.
it's just like, seriously,
Change
guys, this is an
something.
E10 rated game. Would you expect Nintendo to just to sit back and let one of their characters flip the bird in an E10 rated game? No, they would take that out
That's not
because
what it
that
means
is
in
not
Japan,
fitting.
though.
Yeah, but that's not, and it's not fitting for an E10 rated game,
Doesn't
and so
matter. That
that's the
is
same
what it
thing with,
means here. So yeah,
yeah, and so it's the same thing for that gesture, and
as
it's
Matthew
just
put it, this is a smart change, unexpected from Nintendo. Yeah, I
yeah,
snarked something similar
exactly.
on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, yeah, and so I'm perfectly on board with this
Yeah.
because yeah, Nintendo being a family company, and two, this is a game for young children and families.
Mhm.
You know, they want to make sure that it maintains that family friendly air,
Yeah.
and by taking this out, they are maintaining that. And it's not something like they're this magically made it a T-rated game and they're
Oh
trying to
no, no,
get
no.
back to an E10 rating. No, this is just them realizing that, oh, this is offensive to some people and we don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
And I like the fact that they didn't just remove the taunt, okay, Inkling can't taunt, or option. Nobody can taunt ever now. They
Mhm.
just adjusted the animation slightly to so that it can't possibly be read as up yours.
Yeah.
Instead, it's clearly read as haha, as like it was supposed to be in the first place. So golf clap, Nintendo
Yay,
Treehouse
good
or
job,
whoever made
Nintendo.
that decision. Keep it up.
Yeah.
So, okay, not much to say on that one. So,
Yeah,
moving
well,
on.
I
Oh,
do want to
go
read
ahead.
one comment. This is from somebody in a comment. Says that why talking about how it's has different meanings in different cultures. Says, I think it would be better to show that this has different significance in another culture. Now take an extreme state, the person that doesn't know this gesture and go to Japan for any reason, someone does it, the person got triggered while they could have known this from the video game. Why not better communicate about the nature of this gesture? Like, so basically they're saying leave it in so that people in Italy can realize that that it has a totally different meaning in Japan. And
Okay,
I'm just
well,
sitting there, I'm like, that's not what this game is about. Nintendo
no,
is not here to teach acceptable and unacceptable hand gestures across the world.
that and it wouldn't communicate that way anyway because Mario Kart doesn't take place in Japan.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
takes place in the Mushroom Kingdom and the Animal Crossing Village and F-Zero. It takes place in Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Now, a game like Yakuza, which takes place in Japan, then if Kiryu or whoever was doing something like that, yes, leave the gesture alone because that's a specific Japanese gesture being performed by a Japanese character in Japan. And
Yeah.
in that case, I think that could go a long way to informing different cultures because an American audience may look at that and go, the hell, and may I,
Yeah.
does this mean something different because context is telling me he didn't just say up yours. um but in a cartoon video game that takes place in Fantasyland, I don't think I agree that I like teachable opportunities and opportunities to learn new things about other places, but leaving this in there doesn't, for most people, is not going to read as, oh, in Japan that must mean it.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work that way. I don't think so. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All
um,
right, we can move on now.
but moving on. Speak in my deepest voice possible. So here we go. Next topic. Destiny 2 on Switch. No.
No, it's not
Moving on.
happening.
Okay, so what happened was we I think we all knew that Destiny 2 was not going to hit the Switch like most high-end AAA multi-platform titles. Um,
Yeah.
But IGN had an interview with project lead Mark Noseworthy, who said that Bungie has no announcements to make about the Switch at this time. So IGN was like, well, does that mean Destiny 2 could show up on the Switch in the future? And Mr. Noseworthy said, I think it's pretty unrealistic given we're an online only game, right? The Switch, because it's a portable, and I love my Switch. I've got Breath of the Wild here. I've got it with me. It's incredible. Love the console. But in terms of where it's at, I don't want to leave anyone with the possibility of like, it's a thing we'll consider maybe like next year. There's no plans right now for Switch. Mr. Noseworthy seems to be under the impression that the Switch don't go online. At least that's what you have to take away from the comments. Like, well, we can't bring it to the Switch. It's online only. It wouldn't work on the Switch. It's like, goofball. The Switch goes online. It does. You
Yeah.
can play Mario Kart online right now. Well, I mean, if it's portable, then you could. Yes, you can. There's a thing called Wi-Fi. I mean, unless you're where my mom lives, then yeah, you're SOL. Even if you're at home, you're not playing online.
Yeah.
But this is it's an excuse, and it's a dumb excuse because it makes no damn sense, and everyone knows you're BSing us. If he would have said, "Look, the Switch is not powerful enough to run Destiny 2 without seriously scaling the scope of the game back," and
Yeah.
not willing to do that, or we are not, either because of artistic integrity or because we don't we're not willing to spend the money to do that. We are all big boys and girls. We may not act like it, but we all understand that the Switch is a lot less powerful than its contemporaries, and not everything is going to run as is on the Switch.
Yeah.
So if it's a matter of, look, Destiny 2 is a high-end, high-performance game, the Switch can't run it well. But don't feed us this stupid crap. Oh, well, it's an online only game, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
work because Switch doesn't go online. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
it goes online, but it's portable. So if you went outside the house, you wouldn't be able to play. It's like, well, then stay home or use Wi-Fi. Like,
Yeah.
go to Starbucks or McDonald's, or there's lots of places with free public Wi-Fi. Tether your phone or something. Boy,
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah. And I can understand
Noseworthy.
too. Yeah. But if I don't know about, I don't know if this is true with Destiny 2 or not, but if the game is using cross-platform play, like where Xbox One and PS4 players can play each other,
Does
I
it
could
do that?
understand. I don't know if it does or not, but I know some games at least allow console to PC play, but yeah, but if Destiny does allow cross platform play, um, I could see why they wouldn't want to bring it to the Switch, because a Switch player and a PS4 player the Switch player would always be at a disadvantage because, one, their render distance would be a lot shorter, and also they have the PS4 goes into 1080p while the Switch only goes to 720p, so they're going to have a lower resolution there, and they probably have to cut down on the graphics too to make sure everything renders up to snuff. And so
Matthew says
uh,
Destiny 2 is not cross-platform. I
yeah,
didn't think it was, but
I
it
didn't think it
might
was
be
either.
Xbox and PC, but
Yeah,
definitely not Sony and
yeah, I
Microsoft.
didn't think it was, but if that were the case, I could understand why they wouldn't want to put
Sure,
the
sure.
Switch players at a disadvantage.
Hmm.
But since it's platform only play, then it doesn't really matter because Switch players are going to be playing Switch players, and they're going to be on equal footing.
Yeah.
So the whole online thing is just complete BS.
Or
It's just
maybe
don't
they'd
want to do it.
they'd come up with something really silly like, well, some players would be docked and some would be undocked, and there'd be a slight performance difference between the two, and that would be unfair. And then we'd have to make a lobby for docked people and a lobby for undocked people to level playing field. Blah 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 blah. No, you probably wouldn't, uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, don't BS us.
yeah,
Just tell the truth, you scamps.
yeah.
All right. New topic. This is the one that you suggested.
Yes.
So I read this article once. Tell us the story, and let's see if I got all this right.
All right. So Wargaming is a company. They make a game called World of Tanks, which is basically what it is. It's a online multiplayer tank game where you are a tank and you go and you battle other tanks, and you can and apparently you can buy premium tanks, premium ammo, all that stuff that you would expect in a mobile game.
Is it
Uh,
free to play? Other than that?
I don't know. I've never played it, so I,
Hmm.
I didn't. I didn't look into it. But yeah, there's all kinds of premium stuff you can buy, and apparently a new tank came out. It's called the Chrysler K Grand Finals Premium Tank, and it costs $80. And
Damn, that must be a
yeah,
hell of a tank.
well, it says the Kotaku article says that a fully loaded version is priced at $80. So maybe you could
We
get
call it the win button.
yeah. And so there was a YouTuber who's also a what's what is the term that they use for it? A community contributor. These are people that have partnered with Wargaming to promote the game to the community, and so this YouTuber Sir Foch, Foch. He got early access to this tank, and and he went a little ranty over it.
Hmm.
And the video is available is available online, so you can go and watch it.
Did you watch
But
it?
yeah, I watched it,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's only like 2 minutes long, and
Oh,
basically he just says "f you Wargaming" for making this piece of junk. But no, it's not a piece of junk. It's actually a tank. It's a tank of a tank. But his problem is that the tank has very few weak points, whereas most tanks will have weak spots that if you hit them, it'll cause extra damage.
well, for
And
$80, it damn well better have good defense. As
yeah,
Matthew
and
points
so
out,
this
it
one,
only fires premium ammo, which I imagine costs premium dollars
oh
too.
wow, yeah, that's crazy. But so this tank, the texture of it contains machine gun machine gun turrets on the front, and apparently, based on my what I understood from this, is that typically these machine gun turrets will have those will be weak points for other tanks. But he pulled up the hitbox for this. He extracted the hitbox and found out that there actually is no weak point on those machine gun turrets. And
Hmm.
so the entire front of the tank is just one solid 10-inch thick steel that is impenetrable except by the most the most expensive of premium ammo.
Hmm.
And so he went on a rant, and this is what he had to say. He says, F Wargaming, F their terrible way of making these premium tanks lately, and F this premium tank in particular. And that's only a small part of it. And it was basically a 2-minute rant, very similar in nature to that.
Hmm.
Well, so, you know, you wouldn't think that would be that big of a deal. Um,
Well, I might not want to partner with this guy if he's gonna call
yeah,
me the F word all the time, but
yeah, and and if that's all Wargaming did was cancel their community contributor partnership with him, I could understand that. That wouldn't be that big of a deal.
hmm.
But that's not what Wargaming did. Apparently, one of Wargaming's um, uh, people, somebody from Wargaming sent a message to Sir Falk and said that you better take this down, or we're going to go through YouTube's copyright system to take it down for you. Basically, they threatened him with a copyright strike through YouTube, or even worse, a DMCA notice, in order to clamp down on criticism of their business practices. And that is that's something that copyright's not there for. That's not what
Right.
copyright is meant to be. It's not a blunt instrument you can use to whack and destroy negative commentary about you. And needless to say, this caused quite the uproar in the wargaming community, and and then wargaming had to walk it back, and they've posted a lot of a lot of apologies, and saying, we didn't actually mean we were going to copyright this guy, do a copyright claim on this guy's video. It's not what we do, but we didn't appreciate his the tone and nature of his criticism. The criticism was fine. It's just the way he delivered it that we didn't agree with.
Right. So
Like,
you end your partnership with them.
yeah, exactly. You end your partnership with him. You don't threaten him with a copyright strike, which is very damaging and could conceivably destroy somebody's YouTube career, because
Now,
they would lose their channel and all their subscribers if they got too many of those.
the only angle I can think of where something along those lines might be understandable is if the video in question actually says in it, in association with wargaming.net or whatever their name is, and they said, okay, we are no longer associated with you, so uh, edit the video, clip out that part, or go ahead and re-upload it without the association with us.
Yeah,
If they were approaching it from that angle, I might see where they were coming from, but the quotes I've read in the story you linked, it sounds like he's saying the F word a lot and he's being unkind and we don't like it, so we're going to use copyright. We're going to abuse the copyright system to have him take that video down. And I could totally understand them not wanting to associate with this individual anymore and not give him
yeah,
early access or free stuff or whatever. And that's totally fine and understandable and well within their right. But yeah, sounds like they were using the abusing the copyright system, which
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately many game companies are want to do because there are no consequences of doing that. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
abuse it all you want.
and
There's absolutely no downside to doing it other than people think you're a dipstick.
yeah, and that's one of the problems with this, is that, and with copyright law, is that there are no real punishments for people who abuse the
Right.
DMCA process, or just copyright threats of lawsuits and stuff in general. There's no real consequences for that for them. They could do that all they want, and they can just brush it off as, well, that's part of the game. And whereas the people that they're targeting, there are real consequences even for a false copyright claim.
Yeah.
Uh, for Google, for YouTube, if you get 3 copyright strikes against you, you lose your channel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if all 3 of those are actually bogus. If you don't have the ability to fight back, you're screwed. There's nothing you could do, and it takes tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and sometimes years of time to successfully fight a bad copyright claim. Just ask the dancing baby mom. She's that case is still going on. It's the Supreme Court just recently heard it, I believe, and so it's like that happened nearly 10 years ago, and it's like, you really think that is a fair system of copyright? No. And so I just there is a Q&A from I don't know how to say this. It's the PH3LAN. He's the community manager with Wargaming, and he does a quick Q&A about about this whole situation. And so he answers the question, says that okay, removing him from the contributor program is one thing, but why ask him to remove the video? And their answer is our contributors are not working for us and they are not being paid by us. However, they are representing us to a certain extent towards our players. While we know that Sir Folk is not exactly the best role model at times, but we valued his contribution enough to still include him in the program. This might have been a mistake since he used his status, influence, and the exclusive preview content he was given to defame wargaming and the world of tanks. I am sure that his intentions were good, however, the end results were clearly not. We have several channels where our contributors can reach us, and we are always trying to listen to their feedback and concerns. Sir Folk didn't contact us about his clearly strong feelings about the Chrysler producing the video instead. To put it bluntly, we asked him to remove the video because he abused his status as a contributor and the content he received from us to create a video that defamed our company image with the tone and language he used. That to me sounds like just a big load of BS.
I wonder if the partnership has any contractual agreement to
I don't know.
that gives them the authority to request you remove a video that they don't like.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I'd have to look into. But in general,
But
that
that also
statement
wouldn't be a copyright thing, even if
yeah,
that
it
were the
wouldn't be.
case.
Not at all. It wouldn't be a copyright case. And they're in that statement, they're not treating it like a copyright case. They're just treating it like a PR thing. But really, it's just to me, it still reads that they're upset that he exposed the nature of this premium tank and how it gives people who buy it a huge leg up over other people who haven't bought this tank, and they're just trying to bury that, and so
Still, but again, I mean, if I'm paying $80 for a tank, I better have a hell of a leg up on the people who
yeah,
didn't.
exactly.
That's
Okay,
what
and
I'm
then
paying $80 for.
yeah. And then in a follow-up question, he says, "Did you tell him that if he doesn't take the video down, you were going to go through YouTube to take it down?" And the answer, at first we asked Sir Folk to take down the video due to the above mentioned reasons. He refused to do so. At this point, we told him that we will go through YouTube if necessary to remove the video. So yeah, so basically they admit that they used copyright as a tool to force him to censor his video, to take it down. And boy, that is not a good thing to do. That is a terrible PR mistake.
Yeah, bad move.
Yeah.
Do they have a World of Warships too, or is that a different thing?
I don't know. I've never. It doesn't sound familiar. Yeah.
Or maybe World of Tanks actually has battleships in it.
I don't know. Maybe the big tanks on the water. Yeah.
Unless it has Mario in it, I don't care. Destiny 2, does it have Mario? I don't care then. Minecraft, does it have Mario? Oh, it does? Oh, I still don't care. That's the unfortunate place I'm at right now, is all the most popular things going on right now in gaming I don't care about. Like the Switch in general, there's just nothing on it I want to play that I need the Switch to play. So I don't really care about the Switch right now. Destiny 2 just had its big reveal. I'm like, I so don't care.
Okay. Matthew says World of Warships is the same company.
Same one? Okay, cool. Thanks. Destiny 2, don't care about. We just had the ARMS Direct, and as in love with the character design as I am, I have no interest in actually playing the game.
Yeah. I watched the ARMS Direct this week, and the game is very adorable, and the character design is really neat. I noticed that they reused a lot of the little fists through the different characters.
It looks like there's different. There's a couple dozen different boxing gloves, but each character can use any of the other boxing gloves, so you'll see the same glove on different characters.
So I watched it, and the game looks fun, but it's not a system seller. It's not something that I would buy a Switch for, and so I think it'd be something that I would buy and play with the family, because yeah, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. But I'm not going to buy a Switch just for that. Uh,
No, and I don't think anyone is, I don't think it's a, oh, I need a Switch to play this game, but I think for a lot of people it's a great addition to their library. It's not for me though, mainly because it's a multiplayer game. I don't like multiplayer games. I don't want to play games with other people. Um, and I'm just not really into fight. I love watching fighter games. I don't really like playing them so much.
yeah,
I love Punch Out, but that's not really a fighting game. That's a puzzle game.
yeah,
Um, but I really love the character design in this, and I mean, just so good. Like the bite and bark, the robot cop and his robo dog,
yeah,
that's so amazing. What's the snake guy? It's fine. I think they could have gone a little bit more with the snakiness, but
yeah.
it's fine.
And
I
then they've
really
got
love
that
the
goo character. He's kind of
Helix.
interesting.
Japan, and then the woman with the her
The ponytails, yeah,
with the ponytail arms. Um, man, so much personality comes through in that character. It's so wonderful.
yeah, yeah. I think she came across as the most unique and most, yeah, the one with the strongest
Yeah,
personality
you
out of
know
all the
exactly who
characters. Yeah,
she is, you
yeah.
know, and it's really great.
It's like, the one shot of her, um, she's using her hair to hold her up while she's in a sitting pose up off the ground, and
Mhm.
I think she was drinking like a tea or
Drinking
something.
tea with her pinky
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's a really cool pose. I like that.
Hmm.
Um,
And she's constantly standing there, just letting her hair do the work, just dum de dum de dum de dum. Um, you know, sashaying all over the place. Wonderful character design. Also, the
yeah,
music is pretty good. I really like that theme song they've got going on.
yeah,
I like it so much that if you saw me on Twitter, I was being really critical of it, um, because it's too simple for its own good. It's intro A back to intro, and it just cycles. Um, and what that means is it has a intro, and then it does the o portions, and then
hmm,
it goes the na portion, and then it just cycles back, and it really it's calling for variations on the theme. It needs a variant choruses. It needs a bridge. It needs the lead vocalist to improv, uh, or feel like they're doing an improvisation. Because very strong lead vocalist, you know she can handle that.
yeah,
So as a musician myself, I actually find the arrangement kind of frustrating in its simplicity, but it's meant to be um, something that loops, that doesn't get in its own way or get in the way of the game
yeah.
itself. So but it's just such a cool idea that I want to build. I almost want to write another arrangement of it, but I don't have really any way to perform it, so I'm not going to bother. But still, I really like that. Nintendo's been doing some really nice work with music and character design in a lot of different games recently.
Yeah, they
Speaking of
have.
music, both Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta have fantastic music. So Platinum hits it out of the park with music a lot too. So Matthew asked E3 prediction. Um, he says Mario
Mm,
Maker port for the Switch. Yeah, that would not surprise me at all.
I predict that Sony and Microsoft will be at E3, and Nintendo will do a digital event.
There you go. Yeah,
That
Nintendo
that's
actually
my
had a press
prediction.
release last week about its E3 plans, and it's like that's exactly what you expected. They're going to have a digital event. They're going to have the Nintendo Treehouse, and they're going to have a competition, gaming competition with I think Arms and something else, Splatoon or something. It's like, oh, so
Probably Splatoon. Yeah,
you're doing exactly what everyone expected you to do. It's fine. I mean, I don't
yeah,
expect you to. We're going to reveal this game and this game and this game. Oh well, So,
I predict that, and this is a prediction based off of the shakiest of rumors here, that Sega's going to announce the Dreamcast 2 this year.
and that who is it? Yu Suzuki's the Shenmue 3 will be a launch title for Dreamcast 2.
Yeah.
Um, one of my predictions, I'm actually keeping a list of predictions to make a predictions video before E3, like I've done in years past. And one of my predictions is one of the ARMS characters will use its legs. And I got close because you have one using its hair, but I think one is gonna. And Min Min actually does kick a little bit. She'll draw someone in and kind of do a backflip kick.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think someone's gonna have some springy legs. One of the new characters
That'll
will
be
have those.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. So somebody like somebody that maybe walks on their hands and kicks with their legs. I don't know. I don't know if
Sure,
that would
sure.
work, but
Or like a
uh,
Sebulba type character.
yeah,
Well, that does walk in a sense, but isn't doing a handstand. Just kind of walks with his hand behind him. Of course, if you wanted to get adult, you could say, like a male adult film star with an extendable penis with a boxing glove on the front, just kind of standing there like this and thrusting his hips out. No,
yeah.
never. But it's
Uh,
in your head
but he would
now,
only
isn't it?
have one, though. He would only have one
He
boxing.
only gets one.
Yeah.
So, um, let's see. Some other. This is not a serious prediction, but it's one I put on Twitter a while ago. I predict that since the Switch is selling so damn well that Nintendo will discontinue it by August, just like the NES Classic Edition. That's an issue. You think they'll announce a SNES Classic Edition?
Um,
I think there will be one. I think we could see it as early as this fall, but something tells me it won't be at E3.
yeah, I don't think they would do
I
it at
think even
E3.
Nintendo knows that would just piss people off.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do it at E3, and honestly, I don't think they'll release one this year, just because the Switch. This is the first year of the Switch. They don't want to overshadow it, so it would probably be something next year at the earliest.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would love to get a Super NES Classic. I would love to be able to buy an NES Classic for $60 plus tax, but that's not going to happen.
While I could see an SNES in time for the holidays, I would too put my money on probably not, just because Nintendo has enough new hardware to try and make as much as it can and sell
Yeah.
during Christmas and the holiday season in general. So Matthew says, so early spring next year for a Super NES Classic Edition? Sure, maybe. Although
Maybe
they might want to hold it out and hold on to it until the
the
following
holiday. Yeah.
holiday, or just keep it in reserve for a holiday, or even just to plug any dry spell that
Yeah.
may happen. Because when the Switch was announced and right when it launched, we had a lot of the big companies saying we're going to take a wait and see approach. Well, it's been almost 3 months now. Start putting it's successful, so start making games. But if they don't, then the Switch, despite a positive start, may cap out at like 15 million consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not supported with the big games like Destiny 2 and the Call of Duty and the Maddens, and I know EA is apparently bringing some form of FIFA, but who knows if they'll try that crap that they did with FIFA 13.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
So 13U Cube asks if the Switch has a touchscreen. Yes, it does, but you
yes, it
can't use it
does.
while it's docked.
Right.
Not that very many games use it, anyways, but yeah, it's there. And if a game does use it, then the game is can only be played off the dock. So
Yeah. Which is kind
unless
of
they have something
which
alternative
makes
controls.
Mario Maker workable, but makes it kind of awkward because in order to build a level, you're definitely going to want to undock the Switch so you can
Yeah,
poke around on the screen. I mean, you could probably use the pointer mimicking controls to drag stuff on your television, but
yeah,
that's not ideal. So you'd want to mess around with your levels on the screen, and then I guess you'd probably just keep playing it on the screen because otherwise you'd have to dock it and try your level and then take it out and then play around and then dock it again and try, and that's
Well,
I
you
don't
you
think
could
many
you
people are
could
going to want
still you could dock and test the level, or you could make and test the level on hand, and then once you get it feeling right, do like your final testing and uploading when it's docked. But
to. Yeah. Jordan,
yeah,
you're really late. We're done.
yeah,
Same
we're
time
we're
every
on
week, buddy.
we're at the end of the show ramble now.
We're at the end of the yes, the end show ramble. Matthew, yeah, yeah, it's I don't doubt that the Switch will do better than the Wii U, but the Wii U I think ended up at what 14 million, something like that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so I mean it's headed. And again, I'm super frustrated because I don't care about the Switch, and that bums me out as a Nintendo fan because the Switch is out and people are sing the praises of the Switch, and I'm like, I so don't care. It's been almost 3 months.
yeah,
I don't have one. I haven't even looked for one because I don't care, and that makes me
yeah.
really sad.
Yeah, when I'm
But
at
hopefully
Walmart
E3.
or Target, I'll swing by the video game section. I do anyways, and I'll just see if they have any available. Usually, it's just the accessories that they have out. Like I don't ever bother to ask the employees, do you have any Switches available? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not buying one. And they're like, oh, but no, I just never ask. It's just not anything I'm interested in. I never go to
Mm.
Best Buy, or I rarely go to GameStop. And GameStop, I would have to ask if they have any because they don't keep them out in the open. So
Prediction might be we'll learn what the final DLC for Zelda is.
yeah, I would
Pretty
probably
soon.
learn that. If
Um,
not, they'll do that in a direct in July or something. But
Matthew's talking about supply chain management. Yeah, I think Nintendo sold in America at least 200,000 consoles, between 200,000 and 300,000 in April. And they sold it in March. I think it was 900,000. And that may say, oh, well, that's a big drop. There would have been a drop anyway, but I'm willing to bet that they could have sold at least 500,000 if they had the product out there. So it's really a matter of Nintendo's just really, really lousy at getting product out into stores.
yeah,
Um, One prediction I have for E3 that I just really hope comes true is Nintendo or any company really announces something for the Switch that excites me enough to actually buy the damn thing. Now I'll definitely buy one for Mario. There's no doubt in my mind that Mario is going to be something I must play. And Xenoblade 2, I'm sure, is going to be great and something I
yeah,
must play. But really, that's like the only two games that I'm like, I must play those, therefore I must have a Switch. But those aren't on the horizon yet. I mean, Mario's been
yeah,
dated for holiday, which I believe, and although it could easily slip. And Xenoblade, they've said 2017, which I don't think anyone believes, but hey, it would be nice. Um,
yeah, definitely.
so 285K, okay. Um, Andrew, if you
Yeah.
got a disc copy of Breath of the Wild for 40 and bought the DLC, would you buy it? No, because that would be 60, and I don't pay 60 for a video game.
And he definitely doesn't pay 80 for a game.
Yeah.
Or I guess Switch games are 70 though, right?
No, they're
I
60.
forget. No, they're 60. Okay.
Yeah. It's
For
the
some reason,
controllers that are that are up in the $70.
but
Pokemon MMO, I don't care
yeah,
for
I doubt it.
MMOs, but
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11, although that's also PS4, so
Yeah.
probably get it on the
Uh,
PS4 because it'll be better there.
um. A prediction for me. Just something a little more serious, and I guess this is more of a wish than a prediction. But I predict that Sega will announce a Valkyria Chronicles, like
Hmm.
all the games, because the first one's on
So a
PC. They'll
collection of
announce the
the Vita
sequels
games.
for they'll announce the sequels for PC, and
Hmm.
then announce a re-release as a combo pack for the PS4 of the entire series. Yeah, that's my prediction / wish.
All right. Uh, I'm sure we'll find out learn about the Mario Cross Rabbids game from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll learn about Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like, maybe we'll get to play the game sometime in the next 3 or 4 years. Because I think we learned like 6 months ago that it's like, all right, we're starting pre-production. It's like, oh, it's been 8 some years and now you're starting pre-production. Well, I guess it's going to be a while till we actually see this game. 13U Cube is predicting a Tails game. Well, that's a good prediction because that's already been confirmed.
Yeah.
Is it Bandai Namco who does Tails?
I don't know. There's
Is
like a
Namco?
million Tales games, and I just can't remember who makes them all. So
Yeah. Whoever makes Tails, yeah, they announced that there is a Tails game coming for the Switch. I have a video about I don't remember what it's called anymore, but it looks at the Nintendo when the Switch was first announced back in October. It put out an infographic of 30, 40 companies that it was partnering with, and a month or two ago, I made a video looking at the games that had been released or announced so far from those companies, and one of them is a Tales game. So there's also a Story of Seasons game, a Taiko Drum Master game. Yeah, there's some stuff coming. If you predict things that you know, you shouldn't be wrong. That's true. Platinum's hinting at a new game. Cool, because Platinum, we're bringing Scalebound. we're still working on it.
uh,
At this rate, Nintendo's just waiting for the generation that knew F-Zero to die out. Then, as the last human that knew about it dies off, they make F-Zero 2200 on the Nintendo Wii Switch U64. Good name, by the way. Yeah,
yeah.
F-Zero. It's always been weird to me how you've heard from Miyamoto and others quoted. It's like, well, we just don't know what to do with a new F-Zero. I mean, where else do you go? It's like, make new tracks. How hard is this? You don't have to do anything to it. Just give
Come
us
on, F-Zero lives on inside Smash Brothers
I mean,
and
call it
Mario
F-Zero
Kart. Yeah.
continues or F-Zero
Yeah,
new tracks or something.
yeah, you don't have to do anything different with a racing game. A racing game is a racing game. Just make new vehicles, make new tracks, and you're good to go. That's all you got to do.
Do we think the Japanese version of Twintel, the arms fighter with the hair, has less clothes? I don't think so. I haven't looked at her though.
Yeah, I
Doubt
doubt
it.
it. It just doesn't seem like something that Nintendo would do. Um,
And she might have a different name, but the character model is probably exactly the same.
yeah.
Track maker for Mario Kart? Sure. Mario Kart maker.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would maybe be something because Mario Kart has really decent legs. I mean, they may do some like new DLC packs for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then let that play the course for a year, and then maybe come out with a track editor or something to keep keep interest high.
Yeah.
Man, is that game a success? Mario Kart's a another one of those games that I don't care at all about. Do not enjoy playing Mario Kart. Um,
That's
I
because you're
like Yeah, it's because I'm a bad Nintendo fan. I like Mario Kart. I like reading about it and learning about it and seeing what characters are in it and what their animations are like and what the carts are and what all the new levels are. But I tell you, I'll watch a video of like one circuit of a level and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I I've no desire to play that. I don't need to see it ever again. It's really super cool, but I've seen it. I'm done.
yeah.
Racing games just bore me because typically you're just driving in a circle over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's the same thing every time, and it's boring to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
could
like I don't like any
I
of the Mario Karts.
Yeah, I'm not a huge racing fan. There's
Yeah,
very few racing
all right.
games that I'll actually play. Mario Kart is one of the few, and then I like Jet Moto back on the PlayStation. I wish there was more Jet Motos because that one was fun. I don't know if it was what exactly it was, but it was just riding a hover bike was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed playing that. But yeah, other than those two games, um, there's not really a lot of racing games that I'll play because pole position was never a favorite of mine growing up, and it's just most racing games. I just glaze over and everything looks like pole position to me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah. It's like it's in Yakuza 0 there's Outrun is in the game, which is a car racing game, which is a
Hmm.
racing games make good arcade games for me because put in a quarter. When I was a kid, arcade machines were a quarter.
Yeah.
Put in a quarter and you play for 2 minutes and you run out of time and you're done. Like I didn't want to play much longer than this anyway. I'm good. 13U Cube asks what our favorite mini game in Nintendo Land is. Did you play
I've never
Nintendo Land?
played No Land. I
Right.
don't have a Wii
That's
U,
right.
and I
That's right.
haven't played it at anybody else's house. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I like the Donkey Kong tilt stage thing where you have a ball or a mine cart or something that you physically tilt the gamepad to roll a ball along a track and guide it to the goal. I thought that was a lot of fun. I liked that one. Nintendo Land is not as bland or boring as you think it's going to be. It's okay. It's nothing I would buy on purpose, but it's like it comes in the box. So I'm like, all right, I'll I'll play it. Like Wii Sports, you try each one once, and you're like, oh, so there's that. Okay, and some of them are a little bit deeper than you're expecting them to be, and then you're like, oh, well, that's nice, nice attention to detail.
yeah,
That's a good idea, but yeah, I have no interest in playing this. So Metroid Blast, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. It's
yeah.
trying to think if there was a single player component to that one or if that one was multiplayer only. See, I can barely remember what was in the game. I mean, it left so little impression with me.
Yeah.
What would a sequel to Killer 7 be called? Would it be called Killer 8, Killer 14, Killer 7 2?
Yeah.
Don't know why
Being
that just popped into my head,
squared.
but Killer 7 squared. So is it like Killer 49 or um
Yeah.
who was that? Oh, that's Grasshopper Suda 5-1 game. That's a good one. If you haven't did you ever play Killer 7?
No, I didn't.
That is a very Suda game. It's a weird one.
I
Uh,
bet.
Jordan says if you had to make a up-to-date sequel to the original Donkey Kong arcade game, how could you make it new and fun, but in the vein of the original? Um, Basically do exactly what you did in Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy and just modernize the graphics. Because,
Yeah, yeah,
because
that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one.
yeah, that really took the basic idea of crawling up a structure and just really expanded on it with new moves and new
New
locations and
enemies,
enemy
new
types and
locations. Yeah.
yeah, and it was just a ton of fun to play. It was a really great game, and
Yeah.
I want to call it overlooked, but these days it's one of those games that a lot of people in the know will say, "Oh yeah, Donkey Kong '94, go back and play that one." So,
Yeah.
I think it was,
Yeah.
I guess,
And then they did
overlooked when it came out.
yeah.
Fondly
I
remembered.
never got around to playing what was it, Attack of the Minis or
Oh
what
yeah,
was that
some of
one?
those are really good. The Mario March of the Minis or something. It's
March
a
of the
game
Minis,
where
yeah.
yeah, it's a game where you have. I had to write the guide for that sucker. One of them. There's like three or four of them, and It's a game where you need to get your little robot toys it's Lemmings is essentially what it is, but
Yeah.
so you have to draw girders and walls and pipes while your characters are walking to guide them to the exit and keep them from falling into pits of spikes or walking into enemies and stuff like that. And the funny thing about that game is there's I don't know 8 or 9 worlds of 6 to 8 levels apiece, and this was back before this was on the DS, and I really
Hmm.
had no way to do screenshots, so I had to describe in writing exactly where to put all the girders and when. It was a really hard guide to write. So I finished the game, and then it says, okay, congratulations, you beat the game. Now we're unlocking hard mode, which was remixes of every single stage. And I was like, oh crap, I'm only half done. And I called or wrote my editor. I said, "This is going to take me twice as long. I had no idea there was this much content to the game." I mean, that would be like if you were tasked with writing the guide to Mario Galaxy
Yeah.
and just found out that there's the Green Star Challenge at the end. You're like, "No, no, there's 120 more of these damn things." No. Great game though. I really like it.
Yeah.
Let's see. PlayStation version of Frogger was a great game. I saw some
Mhm.
footage of that. I remember it. I never played it though. Um, will Nintendo reveal GameCube Virtual Console on Switch at E3? Would be
Probably
nice.
not.
Probably not though. I
Yeah.
don't really have anything to back that up other than not feeling it. It just doesn't feel
Yeah.
like
It just.
something Nintendo would do right at
Yeah.
this
I
point.
think they would probably remake some GameCube games before they did a GameCube Virtual Console. So
Yeah. If I were stuck on an island, asks Fat Ember, for the next 20 years
that's a
with only one
racist
race.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops. Yeah, I'm going to ban
Yeah.
you. Bad person, you. Whoops. No, no, don't scroll. And block. Bye.
Yeah.
Silly racist. All right. I pray for the people who write the guides. But oh, I had to write the guide for
Dark
both
Souls.
Dark Souls. That's a tough one. But try writing the guide for Monster Hunter. That took me two
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
That was hard. I also wrote the
That's
guide
probably.
for Hyrule Warriors, which the main game really wasn't the problem. It was the damned adventure mode. Oh man, did that take forever to write. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, all right. So yeah, we've been rambling
Yeah.
for a good half an hour, like we usually do. So time to
Yeah.
close the show. So thank you everyone for watching, and most of you for not being racist. Um, I mean, it's like the least we can all do is not be racist, right?
Yeah.
So Andrew Eisen here, Eisen is how you spell the last name, and plug it into YouTube, and you'll find my YouTube channel where I'm doing a series called Debut Review, where I review the first episode of all of this season's new anime series, and it's not popular at all. In fact, only about 1% of the 10,000 plus people who subscribe to my channel watch it. So each video only has about 100 views. But the people who are watching it really seem to get a kick out of it, so that's good. Also, it gives me an excuse to watch anime. um,
Nice.
Monday is Love Rice, which is funny for two reasons. One, the show's only 4 minutes long. There's a lot of really short shows this season, which was good because, as you could probably tell from Friday's show, I was starting to get sick. And I start
Mhm.
getting really sick during this show. I'm like, I'm glad it's only 4 minutes because I'm going to go to bed. Um, so next week, also after that, is Arrow Manga Sensei, and then Sugumomo, something like that. I forget what the name is. And then I think I haven't looked at it looks like I'm coming to the end of the new shows that are not season 2 and um, spin-off series. So
Yeah.
debut review might only have about 2 weeks left or something like that. So um, but they will be on YouTube forever unless I get copyright claimed or something. Um, okay, so
Yeah.
also follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen. So Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night. You can also follow my game development work at DK_gaming. And I am making a game right now. It's just don't have a lot to show, and I just always feel weird, posting. I'm still working on this updates there. So hopefully I'll have some more updates soon. I'm also working on my simple game site builder. It's something that I made a couple of months ago, and I'm making some updates on it, trying to change the screenshot section where you have the option of either just laying out the screenshots in a grid or putting in a like a gallery slideshow type thing, and so I want to do one that's kind of low impact, that's not going to use, that's not really JavaScript heavy, but it's very hard to find one that just works for me, and so hopefully I'll have that up soon enough. And then finally, if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, you can check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and okgamedev.com. So there you go.
All right. You've been watching episode 49 of Molehill Mountain Podcast, and we appreciate it. So, see y'all next week. Bye bye.
Bye.